Mr. President,
Senator from Maine.
Mr. President, for nearly 70 years, the film Mr. Smith Goes to Washington has inspired Americans and people around the world with its uplifting story of how one man of conviction and character can make a difference. Today, I'm honored to offer a few words to the Mr. Smith of our time, Senator Gordon Smith of Oregon. He came to Washington to make a difference, and Mr. President, he has. Senator Smith and I were sworn into the United States Senate on the same day, January 7th, 1997. Although his state and mine are a continent apart, we quickly found that we had a lot in common, and it has been a joy to work with Gordon Smith on so many important issues. Of course, where I come from, the name Senator Smith conjures up not just a beloved movie, but also a towering real-life figure and my inspiration in public service. Although Margaret J. Smith of Maine and Gordon Smith are separated by time, they are united in a spirit of independence and integrity. Both served with strong convictions, but with respect for the principles of others. Both spoke up when they saw wrongdoing. Both had extraordinary courage that allowed them to speak out when they thought that their own party was in error. Both saw the aisle not as a barrier to progress, but as a bridge to reaching consensus on behalf of the American people. This focus on moving forward is especially apparent in Gordon Smith's effective work on issues of great importance in Maine, in Oregon, and everywhere in between: healthcare, tax relief, small business, equal rights, and foreign policy. These challenges are ones that require careful consensus building, a responsible approach that has defined Gordon Smith's service here. Gordon Smith is simply a wonderful person and an extraordinary leader. We all remember the terrible tragedy that he suffered with the loss of his son during his service here. A terrible tragedy that gave him and his family such sorrow. But it is typical of Gordon Smith that out of that tragedy, he chose to do something to help prevent other families from enduring the tragedy of a loss of a child. That is so typical of Gordon Smith, always thinking of others, always trying to do what is right, always committed to public service. Mr. President, Smith is one of the more common names in the English language, but in this chamber, the name has special meaning, one of uncommon principles and extraordinary accomplishments. It reminds us of a cherished film, of the great lady from the state of Maine, Senator Margaret J. Smith, and now of Senator Gordon Smith. I thank him for his service and his friendship, and I wish him all the best in the future.